Shut up and sit down.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, Mr. Main Event himself, the often imitated, never duplicated Superstar Tim Vicious, and put it all over Raw this week was in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, before we do, just like always, we want to remind everyone that this show here, we are WWE Shop affiliates. So what that means is, if you see a particular piece of WWE merch that you want to buy, whether it's one of those Jacob Fatu shirts, a Penta mask, or a piece of memorabilia from the John Cena farewell tour, well, fret no longer, because all you have to do, if you're watching this video, scan that QR code right up there on the screen, or if you're listening to this in audio form, go into the description tab, click on the link, and that'll take you to WWE Shop, easy for me to say, and you make whatever purchase your heart desires, and we here at the Vicious Studios receive a small nominal commission for said purchase, which in turn helps us improve the show for you guys. Thank you. Now that we've gotten that part out of the way, we're going to talk about some news that has broke over the course of the weekend, which was, excuse me, WWE has done its first round of major talent cuts since the whole Triple H regime has officially taken over post WrestleMania 40. And it kind of sucks because Sonya Deville, there was Cedric Alexander, AOP, the Authors of Pain, Paul Ellering, Isla Dawn, trying to remember all the names. The Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson as well, you know, and it sucks, you know. It always sucks when you hear that good talent is let go. But I have nothing but the utmost confidence that these guys and gals are gonna land on their feet and are gonna know and are gonna be able to go shoot for the stratosphere. Not only that, Indy Hartwell put it best in an interview recently, saying that the 90-day grace period is honestly one of the best things out there, is probably one of the best things when you think about it, because it gives you time to think about and process all the emotions that you're going to go through finding out you're being let go from this job. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Not only that, it gives you time to go and plan weeks, months ahead of time. Go and be like, okay, you know what? They say they wanted to let me go because of this. Well, you know what? I'm going to go bust my ass, improve on that, and then go out there and do what they said I couldn't on a whole other level. I'm just saying. Now with that said though, let's switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind. And the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. It started out with main event Jey Uso coming out, addressing the crowd, talking about on how one hell of a week he's had, asked for Cody Rhodes to come out. Cody comes out, looks at Jey and says, oh, main event. Oh, I'm sorry. We've upgraded. WrestleMania main event, Jey Uso. You, my friend, have a hell of a choice on your hands. Now, we've fought together, we've won championship gold together, we've had a few libations together, in fact, and Cody even said, in fact, there's a bar right around the right around the block from here. After this show's done, let's go have some. But keep in mind, we're friends now. Because you got two choices, my friend. At the end of WrestleMania, we can either be standing side by side next to each other as champions, or we could be standing against each other. And I intend to walk out of WrestleMania no matter what as WWE champion. And Jay, looking at him, and next thing you know, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga come out. Tama Tonga, yeah. Then Jacob gets on the mic. And little cuz, congrats on the win. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. Our family needs that title. And the only one that's gonna bring that back, that's worthwhile bringing that back, is me. And that was all Jacob's words. Next thing you know, big fight ensues between all four. Big rigmarole. It eventually gets made into a tag match. That's the main event of the show. Fast forward to that match. It was a good match. Cody and Jay versus Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Good match. It ends with Cody hitting the crossroads onto Tama Tonga. Yay, crowd's happy. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, boom! Cody gets hit with the Samoan spike. Solo Sikoa returns, and then the show ends and fades to black. So everything else that happened between the opening and that end was, we had Piper Niven going against Bianca Belair in a Elimination Chamber qualifier match. Bianca got the win. We also had DIY going against, yes boys, Pretty Deadly. And this was an impromptu match because DIY was out there in their civilian clothes, talking about on how they're a hard-working tag team. They busted their ass to get to this point, this, that, and the other kind of stuff. Then Pretty Deadly comes out. Now hold on now, fellas. We deserve our fair shot at those titles. You wouldn't be champs if it wasn't for us. Next, screaming match between both teams ensues. Nick Aldis comes out. Whoa, now gentlemen. There's an easy way to solve this. How about we have a match right now? Next, you hear Gargano and Ciampa screaming and yelling, No, we can't do that. I'm not dressed for it. And they fought that entire match in their jeans. Give them mad ups on that. Pretty Deadly wound up getting the win on that. We also had a triple threat men's elimination qualifier. Drew McIntyre, Jimmy Uso, and L.A. Knight. Yeah, dummy. Yeah, let me talk to you. There was a promo before the match. Drew explained on why he moved to SmackDown because Raw was a toxic environment. It was making him mean and nasty, and well, it was pretty much just making Drew that mean, nasty, kind of evil version of himself that we all started to grow and love. Jimmy Uso interrupted him, saying on how he's going to wind up winning and cementing his legacy going into Mania and being champ. And then LA Knight came out, ripped on Drew. No. Hold on, folks. Hold on. If we can be real for a moment. It's okay for men to feel their feelings. If you're mad, you can feel mad. If you're sad, you can feel sad. If you feel the need to cry, you can cry. Unless, of course, you're Drew McIntyre, in which case you're doing that all the time. Yeah. So, and just that. Drew wound up getting the win, though, so not much of a surprise there. Akira Tozawa wound up losing in a squash match to Carmelo Hayes. And yeah, that was kind of a popcorn match of the night. We also had the singles debut, easy for me to say. Her first singles match returning, Alexa Bliss going against Candice LeRae. And it was, I gotta say, I missed Little Miss Bliss. I did. That was cool to see her back again. And that came to be, that was, what? Yeah, that was a that was a chamber qualifier. I'm sorry, I had to look at my notes for a moment. But Charlotte was out there cutting a promo talking about on how you guys hated me, now you love me, you're booing me, you're cheering me. Which is it, guys? Because I'm just me. And personally, this is just my personal take. I think Charlotte is a far better heel, a bad guy, villain, however you want to refer. I think she's a far better heel than a face. And no, that more than anything, I think it just comes off naturally, just being a freaking Flair. I mean, come on. I guarantee if you ask people to talk about classic Ric Flair matches, a majority of them are going to talk about, oh, his match with this guy and this guy and this guy. And 99.999% of those matches, Rick was a heel. And yes, I know everyone loves being a heel because it's so much easier, but that's not the point. I'm saying some people are just naturally good bad guys. Some people are just naturally good guys. Rick was a naturally good bad guy. Charlotte comes off as a naturally good villain, heel, bad guy, bad girl, however you want to refer. That's just me and my personal take, though. But either way, Charlotte's out there doing that. Excuse me. Tiffany Stratton then proceeds to come out, insisting Charlotte challenge her, saying that she's got something to prove, saying she's got something to prove, beating her at WrestleMania. Charlotte just looks at her. Kid, you are not ready for me. And the fact that you're coming out here demanding I challenge you just shows it. Then Nia and Candice come out and interrupt, talking about on how one of them is going to be the women's champ again. And then Bliss comes out, and then we get the match. It was a good match. Bliss wound up getting the win. And yeah, so that was pretty much all the highlights from SmackDown. So with that said, let's get into this week's show. Raw in Nashville. It starts out once again. Jey Uso. He's coming down. He yeets, works his way all the way through the crowd, goes and sees everyone, shakes hands with Pat McAfee, shakes hands with Michael Cole, gets up on the table, and as he's yeeting, going out there like that, next thing you know, Gunther comes out, sweeps him off the table, starts beating the living tar off him, something fierce, and then walks away. And as he's walking away, you hear Jay on the mic, Hey Gunther, I'm probably going to regret this, but WrestleMania, you and me for the World Heavyweight Championship. And it's been made official. Jey Uso is officially challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. And folks, I am all for it. And an interesting little note that Chris Van Vliet brought up, there has been a member of the Anoa'i family winning the Royal Rumble for at least the past several decades. You had Yokozuna, The Rock, Roman Reigns, and now Jey Uso. That's just interesting little bar trivia if anyone was ever interested, in case anyone wanted to know. But after that, yeah, so then that got made official. Excuse me. So now we get to our first match of the night. Women's tag action, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez going against Io Sky and the returning Dakota Kai. And this was a good match. Nice fast pace. Liv and Raquel, they were leading with Io being the punching bag for a good portion of the match. Dakota then getting the hot tag in, cleaning up house. It was a good match. At one point, the side of Liv's face actually got busted open, like pretty fierce. Well, not pretty fierce, that's a wrong choice of words, but it got busted open, and the side of her face had some really wicked blood smeared across it. So I don't know if it was just like a small little nickel-sized cut and the blood just dragged and smeared around, or if it was a heavy cut or anything like that. I'm not sure. But it looked pretty good. It looked pretty gnarly on TV. But either way, it was a good match. It came to an end when Io wound up hitting the over-the-sky moonsault onto Liv. And they did also announce that the Raw after Elimination Chamber, Rhea Ripley is going to be challenging Io Sky for and putting her women's championship on the line, because last week Rhea wound up costing Io her shot at the Chamber. So next up we have another women's match, a Chamber qualifier match. BBL Bayley going at... I'm sorry, that name just won't die. Excuse me. BBL Bayley going against Lyra Valkyria. And this nice, good, solid pace with some good back and forth. Honestly, I don't know about anyone else. But to me, watching at home on my TV, it looked like that the crowd was just kind of like, just sitting there quiet. Like, quiet, like, I'm not sure if it was like a analyzing kind of quiet or like a what is this quiet or anything, but it just felt quiet. Like, But it was a good match. I liked it. It was a different kind of feel compared to what you normally see for the women's matches. I thought it was good. Excuse me. That time of year, my throat's a little rough. Bayley wound up getting the win because Lyra, she went to go for a cradle. Bayley reversed it into a cradle of her own, got the 1, 2, 3. So afterwards, Bayley went over and gave Lyra a code of honor. They shook hands. Lyra raised Bayley's hand, like she's the woman. She is the woman. Don't get it twisted. So yeah. Next up, we had tag title action. The Creed brothers going against the War Raiders. Which, honestly, it was kind of funny because if you looked at my Twitter at Tim Vicious, you saw that my cat Rooster, yes, Rooster the cat, wound up getting a look of surprise on his face, because I even took that surprise. I saw that look on his face. So I was like, yeah, ain't no one gonna believe that. Click, and put that picture up on there. Like, yeah, he was pretty surprised seeing the Raiders. But seeing the Raiders working the way they worked. But either way, it was a good match. It was a good, hard-hitting match. With the Raiders, they were leading into the break. Post-commercial break, the Creed brothers, they were leading with Eric as the punching bag. Ivar wound up getting a hot tag in. And I say this all the time, but my God, I love the War Raiders because they are a walking contradiction, and it works so beautifully because you have Eric, who is the shorter of the two, and is the freaking powerhouse of them both. Then you have Ivar, who is the bigger of the two, and he's the high flyer. He's the one that moves around all over, everywhere. That bounces around. But Yeah, it was a good match. Unfortunately, it ended in a DQ finish when Julius wound up hitting one of them with the tag title in front of the ref. And not quite sure where they're leading with that. I don't. Maybe a rematch next week, or maybe one leading into the chamber. I'm not sure, to be honest. But either way, now we get to our main event match of the night. Yes, it was only a 4-card match show, but again, with Netflix, that's been moved from like it's now like a 2.5 hour show. So I'm not arguing, because everyone was sweating bullets like, oh, it's not going to have a time limit, so they're going to make it like a 3 or a 4 hour show, blah, 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 blah. No, dude. Triple H has got a good idea on not just how to make the show, but how to space it out to make 4 matches in 2 hours feel good. Either way, the main event match of the night was the walking douche nozzle himself, Logan Paul, going against Rey Mysterio in a chamber qualifier match. And CM Punk was out there doing a promo before the match, hyping up on how, he busted his ass to qualify for it. So did Drew McIntyre. The only other guy that's been announced for the chamber, he didn't have to qualify. And that man was John Cena. And he's not mad at John for doing that, He's earned his right to be able to shoot that shot and be like Babe Ruth and just say, hey, I'm in the chamber. So, but he said Punk was saying point blank, he's going to go through Cena, he's going to go through McIntyre, and then Logan Paul interrupted him. And them two had shared some words talking about on how at the Royal Rumble, Paul eliminated him. And now it's got the wheels in my head turning. Excuse me. Thinking, just like the Macho Man. Thinking, well, if we don't get Punk and Rollins at Mania, maybe, just maybe, Plan B is going to be Logan Paul and Punk. Not quite sure on how I feel about that. Excuse me. But, yeah. Either way, then them two exchanged some words, and then Ray's music hit, and then the match came to be. As far as the match went, Logan, he was pretty much leading the pace for the entire match. I mean, obviously Ray had his comeback moments, and he's built his spots up here and there to build up for the comeback. But it was pretty much a Logan Paul leading match. And listen, I don't like the guy as much as anyone else. There's no doubt on that. But, I get the reasoning why they signed and did this business deal with him. He's a social media, I hate using this term, but he's a social media megastar. His name is going to bring eyeballs to the TVs, to the phones, to the tablets, to the watches, to whatever you're watching the WWE on. It is what it is. Business brings in strange bedfellows. Because here's the thing, folks. I hate to break it to you, but it's not like I myself, Tim Vicious, have not done business with people that everyone said, oh, I can't believe you're you're working with so-and-so. It happens. Unfortunately, it happens to the best of us. Business brings out the best and the worst of us all, and sometimes you side with strange bedfellows. Anyways, though, how the match came to an end, Logan Paul got the win. Ray hit a 619, went up, went to go drop the diamond splash. Paul countered it, threw Ray back some, got into the corner, got his breath, and then Wham! Got him with that with what they say is a titanium punch. Looked like an open slap to the face to me though, but then did this new move that they're now saying is his finisher, the pulverizer. For the 1, 2, 3. So your winner is Logan Paul. And how the show ended though was real interesting, was as Ray is in the ring licking his wounds like, man, I can't believe I lost, this, that, and the other kind of way. Next thing you know, New Day, boom! New Day out of nowhere starts beating the crap out of Ray, and then the show fades to black. I loved it. I thought that was great. Ended hot like that. And with that said, folks, that is it for this week's show. So please do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back watch some of the other episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Also, if you're listening to this on audio form, leave us a 5-star review on Spotify if you feel we've earned it. Follow us wherever you're listening to the podcast, listening to this on audio form from. Thank you to contributor to the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. There are a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of hey, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Thank you. Also, don't forget to check out whatamaneuver.net for some vicious rants apparel like what I'm wearing right here. We got t-shirts, tanks, women's tees, long sleeves, toddler tees, and baby onesies. Perfect gift for somebody you love, somebody you hate, or a shirt to give to Goodwill so you can hold on to your stuff. Don't forget to follow these cool-ass cats from right here on Twitter, my bad. DSB_IV, main event _net, Sergeant Curry Pants 3 Count Thursday, and D Dryer 1986.
And sit down.
And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.